Hello viewers, welcome to 21st Century IAS, Delhi and Hyderabad. I'm Dr. Srihari Kakarla. మనతో పాటు పబ్లిక్ అడ్మినిస్ట్రేషన్ ఎక్స్పర్ట్ గత 10 సంవత్సరాల నుండి పబ్లిక్ అడ్మినిస్ట్రేషన్ ఆప్షనల్ హ్యాండిల్ చేస్తున్నటువంటి అనిల్ సార్ మనతో పాటు ఉన్నారు. సార్ని అడిగి పబ్లిక్ అడ్మినిస్ట్రేషన్ యొక్క సిగ్నిఫికెన్స్, ఎలా ఎక్కువ మార్కులు స్కోర్ చేయొచ్చు, ఎందుకు పబ్లిక్ అడ్మినిస్ట్రేషన్ ఎక్కువగా చూస్ చేసుకుంటున్నటువంటి ఆప్షనల్, ఈ విషయాలని తెలుసుకుందాం. హలో సార్.
హాయ్ సార్.
సార్, పబ్లిక్ అడ్మినిస్ట్రేషన్ అన్నది ఒక అభ్యర్థి సివిల్ సర్వీసెస్ ప్రిపరేషన్ అంటూనే ఇమీడియట్గా మైండ్లోకి వచ్చే థాట్ పబ్లిక్ అడ్మినిస్ట్రేషన్.
ఎస్.
What was that significant point for choosing public administration optional, sir?
Yeah. Basically, public administration, మీరు చెప్పినట్టు, the first thing that comes to any aspirant's mind when you talk about optional is public administration. Why? Because almost if you look at the syllabus of public administration and if you compare it with general studies, almost 60% of the syllabus overlap with GS, where you have an extra edge of scoring marks well in your optional as well as GS. So our context, if you decode the syllabus of public administration and if you do a comparative analysis of the syllabus of optional as well, GS ki optional ki madhilo GS paper 2 lo gani, GS paper 3 lo gani, GS paper 4 ethics integrity aptitude lo gani, even some concepts in essay, same themes might be repeated as well. So ee dimensions lo మాట్లాడితే almost across GS లో ఒక half of the paper, ఒక complete paper, ఒక 300 marks additional సబ్జెక్ట్ నాలెడ్జ్ అవసరం లేకుండా, అడిషనల్ టైం పెట్టకుండా యూ కెన్ గెట్ దీస్ 300 మార్క్స్ ఎక్స్ట్రా ఎడ్జ్ అండ్ యూ కెన్ బీ స్కోరింగ్ వెల్ ఇన్ దిస్ పర్టికులర్ ఆస్పెక్ట్.
సార్, వాట్ ఎగ్జాక్ట్లీ దిస్ పబ్లిక్ అడ్మినిస్ట్రేషన్ సార్? అంటే మనకు తెలుసు పబ్లిక్ అడ్మినిస్ట్రేషన్ పేరులో లిటరల్ మీనింగ్ అర్థం చేసుకోవచ్చా? పబ్లిక్ అడ్మినిస్ట్రేషన్ అంటే ఏంటి ఎగ్జాక్ట్గా?
మీరు చెప్పినట్టు ద లిటరల్ టర్మ్ పబ్లిక్ అండ్ అడ్మినిస్ట్రేషన్. అడ్మినిస్ట్రేషన్ ఇస్ సంథింగ్ బట్ హౌ యూ గవర్న్. There are two entities, government and the governed. Governed are the people. Public means the people. How you are governing the people, what theories, what methodologies, how you are developing the administrative systems in an efficient, effective and economical way is the study of public administration. So we are confining ourselves to the actional part of the government. Whatever the action is taken by the government, how it is impacting the public. That is what public administration is. So in order to ensure that the services delivered by the government reach to the people, the large sections of the people, you have to ensure that there have been certain systems which were established, which are functioning efficiently and economically. Effectiveness తీసుకురావడాన్నే public administration అంటాం. It not only helps you as an optional subject. When you get into the service, the first thing that you have to learn, because induction training lo labasna killa kuda they'll be providing you certain prerequisites that is expected of an aspirant. How to administer, what are the various challenges that you face within the managements or administrations or any kind of organizations. ఇవన్నీ కూడా మనకి బేసిక్ నాలెడ్జ్ లేకుండా యూ కెనాట్ డీల్ విత్ పీపుల్. యాజ్ ఐ ఆఫెన్ సే, అడ్మినిస్ట్రింగ్ ఆర్ మేనేజింగ్ పీపుల్ ఇస్ ఇట్ ఇస్ టు మేక్ డూ థింగ్స్ బై అదర్ పీపుల్. హౌ యూ perceive to make these things done by others is what is administration whole about. So in order to understand this, you have to understand certain theories. As a discipline, however, public administration has evolved, it has to identify certain principles, certain theories, which have been fruitful in running efficiently all the administrative systems or organizations. Our theory ni build up chese process lone, if you could decode the syllabus, the whole aspect of paper 1 is very theoretical in sense. Or most of the aspirants, what they do is they look at every thinker and every theory in isolation, which is not the case in public administration. Right from chapter 1 to chapter 12 in your paper 1, everything is interconnected, everything is interrelated. You have to establish that correlation, you have to establish that interlinkages, so that whatever the theory has said, whatever the thinker is telling you, that will be course corrected by the subsequent thinker, and you have to arrange yourself, organize yourself, what aspects he has focused on, what improvements he has suggested upon, and how the administrations are becoming more and more efficient in their functioning. That is what you need to understand and analyze, so that it will help you to link these theories in your real day-to-day administrative practices.
Who can choose this optional, sir? Is there any criteria of having this particular subject in their graduation? అంటే డిగ్రీలో ఇది చదివిన వాళ్ళకి బాగా ఫెచ్ అవుతుంది, వీళ్ళు పబ్లిక్ అడ్మినిస్ట్రేషన్ తీసుకోవడం మంచిది, ఇలా ఏమైనా ఉన్నాయా?
See, basically if you analyze public administration, it is very easy to understand, it is very generalized. Even if you look at the previous year questions as well, past papers of UPSC, all the questions seems to be very generalistic in nature. So irrespective of anyone's background, irrespective of any knowledge on this particular subject, if you choose this subject, it will be, first thing is, it is very simple, it is very lucid, it is very easy to understand. Whatever terms you come across in this optional public administration, you have been coming across them interchangeably across your GS papers as well as your day-to-day affairs in current affairs and everything. So no background is required, no prerequisite knowledge is required. So nothing is required for any person to opt public administration. Even if you directly jump into this optional, choose it. If you have interest regarding this particular domain, it will definitely give you better dividends.
ఎప్పటి నుండి స్టార్ట్ చేయాల్సి ఉంటుంది సార్ పబ్లిక్ అడ్మినిస్ట్రేషన్ తీసుకోవాలి అంటే? ఇంటర్మీడియట్ నుండి చదవాలా, లేకపోతే డైరెక్ట్గా వైల్ ప్రిపేరింగ్ ఆఫ్టర్ ది కంప్లీషన్ ఆఫ్
See,
గ్రాడ్యుయేషన్?
there are different perspectives. If someone who is starting their preparation right from intermediate or right from their degree, so they have ample amount of time to nurture the subject, to internalize the subject. Even if you look at the curriculums of various universities, people who are opting for public administration, they have across 6 semesters in their graduation level as well. So if you look at the syllabus of all these 6 semesters, it will be following the same pattern, the same syllabus which was mentioned in your paper 1 and paper 2. It becomes an added advantage for people who have opted public administration as a separate subject in their graduation. But if you talk about someone who has finished their graduation, despite they being from medical science background or they being from engineering background, it is of not at all relevant. I mean, if even if they does not have any exposure to this domain of public administration also, they can directly pick up the syllabus, they can directly pick up the reference book. Even if they start reading it also, it is very easier to understand rather than any other subject. Whatever other subjects, like technical subjects, like something like anthropology or some, there will be some scientific terms which are involved in it. This is not technical, it is very generalized and it is very easy to understand as well. So irrespective of background, if you have finished your graduation, if you directly come to us, we will make you how to decode the syllabus, how organized way you have to follow, what is the approach that is required, so that you can understand all these topics in an interconnected and interlinking manner, so it will develop as a theory.
ప్రతి ఒక్క సబ్జెక్ట్కి కొన్ని డిసడ్వాంటేజెస్ ఉంటాయి.
Yes.
పబ్లిక్ అడ్మినిస్ట్రేషన్కి కూడా అలాంటి ఛాలెంజెస్ ఏమైనా ఉన్నాయా?
Sure. Because in recent times, there have been many myths with respect to opting public administration as optional. Most of the people say the people who are writing mains with public administration has gradually declined. But if you look at the scenario, what has been in past 10 years, the number one demanding subject in UPSC is public administration. Majority, almost 70% of the people used to opt public administration as their optional. It used to be their norm. But gradually what has happened is, because of most of the people coming and opting public administration as a subject, UPSC has a tendency to normalize every other subject as well. So in order to normalize and in order to make or encourage people to go for all other subjects as well, they have been lot more technical. When a lot of people are opting it, obviously it will ensure competition. So competition is very high in public administration. So when competition is high, it depends upon the answer writing skill, the kind of analytical skill which you have developed in the process of understanding the theories. And what is majorly important with public administration is, you cannot write a GS answer in your public administration. What is expected of you is to be little more specific, little more elaborative, little more logical, in the sense that you are connecting whatever theories or concepts you are learning in paper 1, that will be integrated in your paper 2 as well. And the dynamism that the subject brings in, where you have to integrate the current affairs. So in our classes, we will make sure that I will give you a basic overview and basic connection of all the thinkers, theories, what their outstanding contribution to the discipline of public administration is, and eventually, after you understand these theories and concepts in a comprehensive manner, once you get clarity out of these concepts, for every concept, whatever we are going to learn or come across in paper 2, which is a practically application oriented paper, and the current affairs which we come across on regular basis, I will make sure that you will be in a position to interconnect all the theories which were learned by you in paper 1. You are able to connect, because there has been a lot of scope for this paper, a lot of dynamism is involved, a lot of scope is there. If you could develop this one particular skill, you can easily score well in this optional.
Coming to the nature of the questions, is that is static kind of questions or dynamic or
Yeah.
contemporary?
So that is what, as I have been reiterating this, the kind of questions which were asked in public administration is a combination of both. It is linked, like there is no question which is asked only from paper 1 or unit 1. They have a tendency of asking questions by interlinking various units which is there in the syllabus. So that integration has to be developed. The understanding of the syllabus, as I have constantly been telling you, this subject, this chapter wise unit should not be looked at in isolation. It has to be integrated. You have to develop that skill. And the kind of questions which were asked also, it will be a combination of static as well as current. So the dynamism has to be brought in. For example, recently we have numerous issues happening up around the world. For example, Israel has conducted a genocide in Gaza. If that is the case, how do you look at this particular issue from administration perspective and how it is relevant for your examination in your optional paper? Whenever such sort of devastated situations happen across the world, we have certain international organizations. For example, United Nations is there. One such important judicial organization, which is the highest body in UN, is International Court of Justice. So what is the organization? What is the structure of International Court of Justice? What are the powers that it has got? What are the authority that it possesses? And how responsibility is acting? Whether it is in norms with UN Charter or not. When some countries accusing Israel of attacking Gaza, so how these international bodies are functioning, what is their organization, mandate, structure, whether the authority that it is possessing is commensurate with its responsibility or not. So you have to understand the organizational systems, which was spoken by Henry Fayol when he identified his 14 principles. He talked about it. It was also reiterated by Max Weber, authority and responsibility. He's spoken about that in bureaucracy while talking about it. Similarly, Mary Parker Follett has also come up with there has to be an interdependence between the kind of power, the authority, and the responsibility that you are taking about. We can quote various thinkers within these contemporary examples as well. So that is how the interlinkage is required. So if you could establish this hack, it is very possible that you score more than 300 plus in public administration.
Yeah, coming to the scoring pattern, how much an average aspirant can score?
So, with a sensible knowledge in your general studies, but I caution all the students is it should not be a GS answer. There should be, you have to showcase some sort of difference between general studies answer and your optional answer. Despite the question being generalistic in nature, you have to write an answer which is way more than a normal GS answer looks. So for that, you need to incorporate whatever examples I have been telling, that dynamic aspects have to be interlinked or connected with the conceptual aspects or theoretical aspects or the views which were expressed by various administrative thinkers. If that is done, you can score more than 320, 330. There have been numerous
Exactly.
rankers who have scored more than 330 plus as well. Recently also 300 has been the norm. 300 is achievable. And if minimalistic sense, safe side, even if you have some knowledge, some understanding, some clarity on what you're doing, what you're writing, and how the question, what kind of question have been asked and what is the demand, if you could understand that and write a sensible answer, not less than 270 marks can be assured if you opt public administration, because it is so much of overlapping with GS. So you won't find any disconnect or mismatch between your preparation. Some people might feel if some subject is very technical in sense, if most of the time is spent by an aspirant on preparing and getting strong in their optional subject, in the back of the mind they might be thinking that I'm not preparing GS, so how much time I have to allocate for GS. So this conflict of thought will not be there if someone is opting for public administration. Why? Because directly or indirectly, if you are working out on your optional, this knowledge will help you enrich your score in GS. Similarly, whatever general studies and current affairs that you are updating, that knowledge will help you even enrich your score in optional as well. Win-win situation can be attained. Why choosing public administration?
What about the reference books?
Reference, there are normal standard reference books, very good reference books, despite of our notes which is provided, despite of our material which is given from our end, we have certain reference books which were regarded as very authentic, which every aspirant has to refer. For example, administrative thinkers, you have to refer Prasads and Prasads in order to get an understanding of all the thinkers and their contribution to administration. So that is the one basic book. Apart from that, we say The New Horizons of Public Administration, which was written by Mohit Bhattacharya. we considered this as a Bible. Once your preparation is done, once you have revised your class notes, once you have gone through all the previous year questions, once you are done with Prasads and Prasads, before attempting exam, before attempting any test series, after you have covered whole syllabus across this paper 1 on paper 2, you have to at least give a single reading of this book called Mohit Bhattacharya, New Horizons of Public Administration, which even enhances your perspective of looking at things and connecting things in an integrated manner, where it acts as a reference. You will stand out. Your knowledge will little bit, you can enrich your knowledge if you go through it. That is regarded as Bible. That has to be followed. These two are significant, and our class notes will suffice for paper 1. Paper 2, you have Goel, so that book has to be referred. Some people also, for Indian administration, they refers to Lakshmi Kant as well. Indian part, it is doable, which is almost overlapping with your GS paper 2 in polity and governance. So these aspects are enough for the material aspects.
Apart from this reference book, will you provide any kind of simplified notes which is easily
Yes,
revised?
absolutely. What we do is, for every chapter, right from the beginning, all the 12 units of paper 1 and 14 units of paper 2, we will give class notes. We will dictate, in which we will also make sure that we are covering all the dimensions, all the components which helps the UPSC aspirant who are aspiring to take public administration to answer all the previous year questions. Let's say, for example, if I am talking about the first chapter, Introduction to Public Administration, you call various dimensions of questions were asked already by UPSC. So we will make a reference to all these previous year questions on this particular topic. We will talk about how this discipline has evolved and what are the various fathers, administrative thinkers. Like Sir Woodrow Wilson is regarded as father of public administration. What is his contribution and what are the principles that he has identified? And all these aspects and different dimensions covering all the components will be addressed, will be given by us in class notes itself. Once you revise your class notes, I am 100% sure that you will be in a position to attempt all the previous year questions which were asked from that particular topic. So that will be there. Apart from this, value addition has to be done
Yes.
on a regular basis based on the current affairs that we are providing.